Thank you, Tracy. Tracy Doobie, everybody. She is the registrar, front of the office person that you will come in contact with a lot at school. My name is Mike Deering. I am the principal. Been at Concordia High School. Tracy's celebrated 15 years. I just celebrated 15 years, so there's a lot of years there. Too many to speak of. Dr. Rader. Marianne Rader is on there. She's director of curriculum. She's been at the school for many moons as well. What is it, 10, 20, 30? 14 years. Coach Canepa, Carla Canepa, is our athletic and activities director. So we'll be hearing from both Dr. Rader and Mrs. Canepa soon. I want to introduce Mrs. Karen Sue Murdy. If you can see Karen Sue, she's on here, and she is now a parent of a graduate of Concordia High School. And that certain graduate of Mrs. Murdy is Sam, who will also be speaking. So Sam, yeah, and Jordan Stoley, who's now officially a senior for us next year. So we're obviously in that time of transition in the summertime, and we're just really grateful that you are here with us. Really, this is the second time that we've done a virtual open house, and really it's just great to be able to sit and listen and talk to you about what Concordia High School has to offer. We're coming off of this 3 months or whatever since March of online learning, which we were not prepared for, but we certainly adjusted pretty quickly to, and we'll talk more about that. And really just talking about how our care and concern for the students is still top of the priority list, and how we did that, and how we're going to continue to do that in all the different things that we offer at Concordia High School. So we like to start with a word of prayer, and then I know we'll show you a little video, and I'll introduce you to the different speakers as we go along. And certainly if you have questions, we'll have time at the end for Q&A, but if you just think of something that comes to you, we certainly have the chat section in the Zoom meeting, so feel free to chat away on that as we go along. So let's start with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank you again for technology and the use of technology and this ability for us all across the United States to be able to talk about Concordia High School and the students and the faculty. What amazing talent and gifts you have given to us, and just pray a special blessing on this time. Give us the words that come from the Holy Spirit and ears to listen to your people, and may your message be the one that prevails here today. Thank you again for this time and for everybody on this Zoom meeting. In your name we pray, amen. So, Mrs. Dewey, I think.
All right, let me load it up.
Load it up.
Tell me, can y'all see my screen? I want to make sure it works. The video is not playing. Hold on. Can you see the video?
Yes, I can.
Can anybody else hear it? I'm not hearing it.
You're not seeing it?
I see it, I don't hear it.
So you could see it but not hear it?
You could not hear it, and it might be an adjustment on your share screen.
Yeah.
With,
let me undo my share screen.
The ability to.
I had 2 screens going.
If you're curious about that video or others like it, they're all on our website.
and should be actually pretty easy to see on the website too if you're curious later and you want to go back and watch it again.
That's right. Thank you, Sam. I saw your face on there, Sam.
Yours too.
I'm having trouble getting it back, so.
It's okay. It's okay. So again, this is our second time that we've done this, and that's the first time that we've ever attempted to show a live video, or not a video, but a video, a little promotional piece on Concordia High School. Hopefully what you saw in that was just in the capturing of the spirit of the school was a bunch of different, a lot of activities. And I'm not going to speak for the students that we have here. They'll talk more about all the different things that they do and how they're connected in the community. But feel free, yes, go back into the website, or I think it's even on our YouTube channel. That was on YouTube. You can
It's
see
also
that.
on today's Facebook posts.
That was a Facebook.
Facebook. So if you go to Concordia High School, and then it's the one that says Concordia High School, Pflugerville, Round Rock. And then you can watch it. We hope you do. It's awesome.
If somebody wants to go ahead and put that in the chat section, just kind of send a little link there. That would be great. So yeah, I think really we're up in the game on the social media and trying to capture more of really the essence of Concordia High School in those pictures and videos. And it's a great video, and I would encourage everybody to go back and watch that. We're going to talk about, well, we're not going to talk about Dr. Rader, but Dr. Rader is going to talk about curriculum. And so I welcome Dr. Rader into the conversation. The floor is yours, Dr. Rader, science teacher and director of curriculum.
All right. So I want to talk a little bit about what we do under normal circumstances, and then also spend some time talking about what we did this year, because this spring was anything but normal. So by definition, we are a college prep school. That means we are very intentional in how our curriculum is designed and written to prepare our students to go to college or for whatever career path or future path they choose. Most of our students do go on to a 4-year. Some of our students do not. Some of them go to trade schools, or they go to a military academy, or they go to a variety of places. But like I said, most of them do go to 4-year. So everything is designed to have them academically prepared to go to that 4-year. So that means as a freshman and sophomore, all of our core classes are pre-AP classes, because our students need to be prepared to take the highest level of courses that they can. And if they choose not to do so, then that's their choice. So once you get to 11th grade, those core classes will split, and we'll have on-level classes or regular classes. And then we'll also have courses that are at a higher level that will either be dual credit, AP classes, or honors classes. And that changes a little bit from year to year as to whether we offer something as dual credit versus AP, based on what we feel the needs of our student body is at that time. For dual credit, we currently work with UT Tyler, Colorado Christian, and ACC. Our teachers have the freedom to help design their own curriculum, but it has to be accredited. And so our school is accredited by the National Lutheran School Accreditation. And so therefore, it's not just us saying, well, golly gee, this would be fun to teach. We have accreditation who looks at our whole curriculum, looks at our whole school, and actually does a site visit every few years. So everything that we do meets and exceeds the TEKS, and then goes to a much higher level. This past spring, like I said, it was anything but normal. And we shifted the Tuesday after spring break to online learning. And we decided at that point that the teachers wanted to keep teaching. They felt like we needed to go ahead and finish out the year strong. Even the AP courses, they wrote the AP tests to include everything through March. But when our teachers looked at their courses and said, if a student gets AP credit for, say, calculus, then when they go to college, the next class, they're going to assume they had the whole course, not just 3/4 of it. And so our teachers kept teaching and continued on with the courses throughout the rest of the year. It was not just review. It was not optional. It was required school as normal as we could make it. And so there were a lot of different platforms for how we did that. A lot of teachers use Zoom. There were still class discussions. There were videos of lectures. There were class videos. I had videos for labs. I know for my anatomy class. Some classes use project-based learning. So there was a lot of different variety for what was appropriate for each age level and content area. The students got a daily email from their teacher that explained what they should do for that day. They still had assignments. They still had tests. So even though our students were all apart from each other, they were very much learning together. We had daily office hours through Zoom, so students could come and ask questions. They could discuss anything they weren't sure about. Sometimes students would come onto the Zoom, I think, just to see other students and just to see a friendly face, because Concordia is so much focused on relationships that it was really hard to not have that day to day. There were a lot of things that make Concordia unique that still continued on throughout that online learning. Like we have family groups or our small groups. I'm sure you'll hear more about them. My family group still met every Friday, just like we would do on campus, except we did it through Zoom. The girls' Bible study that usually would meet during lunch certain days of the week, they still met a couple times a week. So there was still that opportunity for connection and for those relationships to grow and flourish. So not only were our students taken care of emotionally and psychologically, but we kept preparing them academically. So one thing that's different about private schools is that we don't do STAR testing. And so that saves us a significant amount of time in the classroom. Some schools that don't do STAR choose to have a shortened academic calendar. My niece and nephew go to a school in San Antonio that does that. But we instead take that extra time and use it to apply to academics so that our students are better prepared. And they do take some standardized testing, that being the pre-ACT, pre-SAT, ACT, and SAT tests. We have students who perform very, very well on those tests. We had a student in last year's class who had a perfect ACT score and was one off on the SAT. So it's important that we prepare those students. And sometimes we'll have like prep sections and that sort of thing so that they're more comfortable with that. We have a full-time college coordinator who is phenomenal, and that's Diane Rep. And she's in Indiana with her parents, so she's not here tonight. But she provides our students with so many opportunities to prepare for those tests, to get comfortable sitting there and taking those tests with scholarships. She's phenomenal at meeting our students where they are, figuring out what their passions are and their goals and their dreams, and finding a way to make it happen. And so her job is dedicated to being that college coordinator. She starts working with the students one-on-one, not just their junior and senior year, but when they're underclassmen as well. And so she feels most successful when our students are accepted to their dream school. Parents often feel successful when the students get big scholarships. And if you've seen the numbers that our seniors have produced over the years, this year we had 25 seniors who brought in over $4 million. So it's a lot of money. It's a great return on investment. You'll hear that from parents that you talk to, that the tuition money they spend pays off in dividends in the happiness of their child, how well prepared they are, how successful they are in college, and in the scholarships that a lot of our students get. We have a lot of extracurriculars. I know Ms. Knippa will talk about that, but not all of them are sports. Some of them are academic. I coach the Science Olympiad team. And so if you have a student who's not an athlete, yet they want to be competitive and in a team environment, we have Science Olympiad, we have TAPS, we have debate and forensics. There's a lot of different things for that. So we do really value our academics, but it's more than just the academics. Like I said, we've got family groups, which are a huge piece of that. But you'll really see, when you talk to our students, you'll see the family relationship that our students have with each other, with their teachers, with the administrators. It's really a great environment. So I will leave you with that.
Great job, Dr. Rader. Well said. You covered a lot of ground in 10 minutes. So
I do that.
That's really
Ask Sam
good.
about it.
Really impressive. Thank you. And yes, again, if there's any questions pertaining to the curriculum or college coordinating, we can go through that at the end here. Next up is Coach Canepa, Carla Canepa. She is, again, our athletics and activities director. So the floor is yours, Coach.
Welcome, everyone. It's so good to have y'all joining us. And as Dr. Rader referred to, we have lots of activities. I like to call this the land of opportunity, because you're going to be able to experience so much more at our small private school than you would at a huge public school. We make sure that the coaches share you and our directors share you, so that you get a taste of all sorts of things. We'll have athletes participating in the one-act play or science Olympiad or the musical. You can also go and participate in our academic contest and speech and forensic contest and be in choir and band, all at the same time. And that's kind of my job, is to coordinate your schedules so that you know where to go on what days, and you'll bring the proper instrument or equipment to school that day, so you'll know what you're practicing or competing in. But the coaches are very supportive, and they're very, very talented. We hire only the best and qualified coaches. It's not just a warm body that we throw out there. These are former athletes, these are club coaches, and they really have a passion for their sport. So I'm very proud of our coaches. If you get involved in all of this stuff, you're going to naturally build a strong college application. And that's what we're all about, is we want you to succeed in your classes, and then also be very well-rounded in all these activities. And we just feel like we're building strong Christian leaders through that. And you'll have a strong college application and a good job resume too, if you need to get you a part-time job when you're there in college. I want to brag on our class of 2018, because they had 17% of their athletes sign letters of intent in soccer, swimming, softball, and cross country and track their senior year. And the NCAA says the average is only 7%. So if you want to get to the next level, don't worry about it. You can come to Concordia and we'll get you to the next level if that's your goal. A couple of other activities that we have I want to point out to you is, in August, we take the freshmen and the seniors on a little bonding trip to Camp Lone Star overnight, and they do a lot of team building and Bible study and just getting to know you activities. And the seniors will mentor the freshmen and tell them all about high school life. And so that's really unique. One of the Friday nights in August, we'll all go out to Dr. Rader's property and have a big family party, and it's just such a fun time. And the students all gather out there for pizza and drinks, and the parents come too, and they bring their lawn chairs and they get to know each other. So even if your student tells you that parents aren't allowed, don't believe them, because parents are very much welcomed and they do come. And we thank Dr. Rader for always doing that for us. And once a year, we'll go on a school field trip. We've been to Dallas and San Antonio. And when we went to San Antonio, we got to stay late and attended a San Antonio Spurs basketball game. So that was really fun. And one day a semester, when we're not doing the field trip, on the other semester, we take a day off and we go to do community service out in the Austin area, in the Pflugerville, Round Rock, Georgetown area. And this is a way that our students can volunteer for a day and give back to the community, and we think that's very important too. So just lots of reasons why you should come to Concordia, and we'll keep you busy, and I have an open door, and if students want to do something and it's not the normal sport or club, they can come talk to me.
Great job, Coach. Thank you so much. And spot on. Her door is always open, and she loves talking to our student athletes. She loves talking to anybody that's going to get involved with TAPS academics, and just she wants all of our students to be involved because that's a big part of our community. That's great. Speaking of part of our community, Mrs. Karen Sue Murdy. She is a parent and former parent now, but also a volunteer of many things. And so, Karen Sue, you have the virtual floor.
All right. So does anybody remember what happened August 25th, 2017? Involved a lot of rain in Texas, in Houston. It was Hurricane Harvey, obviously. And Sam and I came to do Hurricane Harvey cleanup. We had stopped at Concordia High School to attend chapel as a visitor, and Sam was invited to stay for the day. When I went to pick up Sam, Sam said to me, "Oh, Mom, I so wish I could go to high school here." I'm like, okay, why is that? And he said, "I loved being in the classroom. I loved the interaction between the teachers and the students. It was clear that the teachers really cared about the students. I loved the conversations, the questions, the discussions in the classroom. It was like just really good discussion. I loved it that God could be a part of the center of any subject." And I said, "Well, pray about it. Because what do you do when you live, in Wisconsin and you have for 30 years? Well, God answered Sam's prayer in a pretty powerful way, and a lot of things happened. I've been trying to get my husband to move here forever, so I was ecstatic, and it did work out for us to be here, and we have loved being here. So Sam, Sam is the youngest of my kids. I have 4 boys, and we've pretty much done it all. We've done private education, we've done public education, we've done homeschool. With Sam, we'd homeschooled 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. 9th grade, he was in a public high school. 10th grade, then we had done part public high school, part homeschooling, and just have been really praying about just finding the right thing. And so we were thrilled when it worked out. So a couple favorites that I have as a parent is, as you know, with kids, there's a lot of things that vie for their time between internet, social media, screens, whatever. And what I have loved is how engaged that Sam and his friends are at high school. And so at a time when there's so many things that vie for your kids' attention, it is so great to have godly mentors in front of your kids who are challenging them to be academically strong and to be the very best people they can be, and know them, because we're a little bit smaller school. The teachers really know those kids. They care about them. One of the things I loved, the teachers did such an awesome job of adapting to the change after spring break. And I was so thrilled to just see, Sam was like so excited to get on his Zoom classes and talk to everybody, and you could just feel the energy. And sometimes I had to sneak by and just soak up a little bit of it myself. So it was very wonderful at a time when I heard a lot of other parents from other schools complaining about their kid. They just couldn't get their kids engaged in education or in learning or whatever. And our teachers worked really hard to really engage our kids. So one of my favorite memories of Concordia High School, my favorite days ever, was what we call sorting day. So you've heard us talk a little bit about families. So family groups at Concordia High School are a group of couple senior, couple juniors, couple sophomores, couple freshmen. So they're put in those groups, and they stay with the same group throughout their entire time there. And it's just like that. It's a family group. And they kind of all watch out for each other. And, obviously the seniors kind of mentor the younger kids. And so what happens is there's a lot of leadership development as the kids get older. And the kids don't get lost because they have a group of kids very specifically that are watching out for them. They have a time on Fridays when they meet before lunch. They might do a Bible study. They might do just a question and answer. It might be, what was your high this week? What were highs, lows, and exciting things or whatever. But on sorting day, the seniors get to decide how they're going to do sorting. And on sorting day this year, the seniors plan this family feud, and it was absolutely hilarious. But what happened, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. What happened is when whatever family group won that family feud round, their prize was their new students, the freshman kids that were coming in. And the whole school just erupted and cheered as that student's name was called, and they were all singing, you know, as they walked in, it's like, I'm a child of God, Cardinal forever, and member of family, you know, fill in the blank, Tide or PBC, which is Purified by Christ or whatever. And I came home and I said to my husband, I'm like, I wish every single high school student had the opportunity to be celebrated like that, to belong and to feel like they're part of something. And so I think that is a unique and awesome experience about Concordia High School. So just look at my notes here. I think I covered everything. I guess I'm just going to say in closing, I was absolutely thrilled with our adjustment to dealing with the COVID. Like I said, the teachers really engaged with the students, really touched base to see how they were doing, how they could help, spent extra time helping. And the other thing that I was very impressed about is they kind of got rolling right away for 2 weeks, and then they were getting constant feedback from students and parents. And then they made an adjustment to adapt to what the feedback was, which made it even better. So we were very, very thrilled with that, and very excited to just feel like my son is going off to college with an incredibly strong academic background. And one more quick thing is, when we first came here, every single day, Sam would come home from school and say, I love being at school. And then the second semester, he said, well, it's not perfect. No place is perfect, but I still love being at Concordia High School. And then when we were in COVID, he's like, I hate this. I want to be at school with my friends and teachers. So I think that's pretty awesome as a parent. That's really what you want for your kid. So.
Karen Sue, I can verify that you were definitely checking in on those classes. Because
it's so fun.
I saw you in that econ class that one day. Probably more than one day, and I know Dr. Rader would say the same thing. We saw your face. We knew you.
I see all those kids. They're so fun.
Well, and we'd have Dr. Murdy pop in too.
Oh, well.
Yep.
Well, expert advice since he was doing televisits from home. That worked out well.
Yep. It worked out really well for anatomy. So.
Anatomy. Perfect. Thank you, Karen Sue. We are going to turn it over to our two students and just getting their perspective as well. I think it's always important to hear from the student side what their life is like or what their life was like. And so we do have, again, Jordan and Sam. Jordan is a junior, well, she's now a senior, and Sam just graduated. You could see Sam actually walk across the stage. I think we still have the graduation video. We definitely decided to do a graduation ceremony at our new campus at Heather Wild in the parking lot, outside ceremony. I thought it was a fantastic job by all of us. And Sam, you'll see the high five, but it wasn't really a high five. It was more of when he took the diploma, we have a handshake that we do, and so you might catch that. Just something to look forward to if you want to sit down and watch a high school graduation ceremony. But first, let's talk with Jordan. And Jordan, you are up.
Thank you, Mr. D. It's always a privilege to be able to talk about things that I love, which for me is school. And I just wanted to touch on a little bit of my middle school past of me being totally introverted, which might surprise my teachers because I would come home after class in high school and I would just hit my bed and be like, I talked the entire day. Like, I can't not talk to these people. So I'm supposed to bring up talking about some relationships and how amazing that it is. So me being a junior, well, when I was a junior this last semester and the other one, it was so interesting to me that I had senior friends and then like freshman friends and sophomore friends, because there's really no boundaries here. And it's so wonderful to me because I was in a school with 330 kids in my class and I didn't even talk to half of them, to going to a school of approximately 100 kids and knowing them all, their first and last names, knowing seriously what sports they do, and like I get to cheer them on and stuff because I know who they are, and it's wonderful. And one of the one of my favorite things is when I first got here, it was crazy to me that people would just come up to me and like just start having a conversation, and then the next day they would come up to me again. So you knew that they were truly heartfelt relationships and that they wanted to show you that they loved you and stuff. I've heard about Concordia since about 2013. Our friends from church went here, and since about that time, I only knew Concordia as the family atmosphere. That's what everybody described it as. And it's not only with the students, it's with the teachers too, because these are our role models. Like, I really look up to a lot of my teachers because they're so wise and they really tie a lot of things back to God, and it's amazing. And they not only prepare us for college in the school aspect, but also more importantly in the faith aspect and how to defend your faith when it comes to that time, because usually you'll be faced with things like that. So it's very amazing that we have teachers like this. And so I'm also one of the leaders of the girls Bible study, and like Dr. Rader said, we would meet over Zoom. We actually started meeting twice a week because we just decided we needed it. And so we just talk about this year we did Romans. We pick a theme and we just talk about it, and just use like we use our ideas and how it can be shaped by the Bible and how everything is so structured by it, while also being shown His love and His grace, things like that. So then we also have a women's retreat at the end of the year that Miss Murdy got to speak at, our very first one, which was also my sophomore year because we weren't able to have one this year. And we went to the pool for 10 hours, and then we had lots of good food and devotion time, and it was really good because you got to like be molded in your faith and grow stronger, but you also got to have relationships with these wonderful women. Just like the whole Concordia atmosphere is just having a great relationship while learning. So I will sign off with that.
Way to sign off. You hit it right on the head. That was perfect, Jordan. Thank you. Sam.
All right, guys.
Ready.
Hey, my name's Sam. I just graduated. Not but a few days ago. But just like Jordan, I am very, very, very passionate about Concordia, and was kind of so like that before I even got here. And that was because ever since I was a little kid, I've been raised to appreciate the values of integrity and passion and hard work. And when we came down here at the beginning of my sophomore year, and I was able to spend just a little bit of time at Concordia, I saw those principles lived out so vibrantly, and not only through the teachers who were trying to mold the students to do it, but also through the students. And so earlier in my story, like my mother was talking about, I had the ability to go to a Lutheran elementary middle school like my brothers had, that was connected to our church. And just with some of our favorite teachers moving and there being some transition time, we decided that we were going to search out some higher level, hopefully some higher level education through a classical conversations homeschool. And we loved it so much that we did it 3 years, and it was awesome. And it wasn't because I was like socially lacking or anything, but we loved the interaction we had with that. And then as my 8th grade year finished up, my brother, who was going to be a senior in high school my freshman year, was going to be at the public high school where all the rest of my brothers had gone. And we decided that, we wanted to take a little break from the homeschool and see how the public high school went. So I went, and I had a great experience with my brother there. And, I thought, man, this is pretty good. I can see some faults, but, as far as high school goes, this is pretty good. And then I was able to come and see Concordia and tour it. And I was like, man, no one even knows that places like this can exist, and are such centers of Christ and embodying young people to be better people. So some of the things that I wanted to talk about Concordia that differ from the other educational tracks that I've had are the fact that the teachers and the students are on a higher level. They're on a level of wanting to be there. They want to be there, and they want to learn with each other, and they want to have relationships with each other. And how that relates to Concordia is that it's not just good people around your kids. It's not just the fact that the teachers who are in front of your kids for 12 hours a day, be it sports and academics, are good people. It's not just that the people around your kids are good students. It's that they're molding your student to be a better student. And that's something that I've found to be incredibly powerful, is that, no one's perfect. Truly no one is perfect. But as a family at Concordia, we can work through those sinful actions together to the point where you become a better person, and you seek to work harder, and you seek to do better in your spirits or in your studies as well. So the other thing that I loved about Concordia was the opportunities as far as it related to sports and other activities with like musical and drama. So at our public high school that I went to in Wisconsin, there were obviously sports offered, but it was pretty much, 1, 2, if you were really, really, really pushing, you could maybe squeeze in 3. And one of the things that I've loved is that me and in several of my friends, it's not like a one case scenario. Several of my classmates, as well as myself, were able to do, I think last year, 6 sports. So 2 sports a season while doing Science Olympiad and the musical and the 1-act play, and not like suffering in our grades. We were able to keep up. And that's one of the things that the coaches alongside the teachers seek to push you academically. They seek to prepare you, like Dr. Rader was saying, for college and for higher level institutions of learning. So if you're really slacking in your grades, or you're really having a tough time with the late night games and practices, the coaches will say, hey, if you need a little bit of a break to catch up on your studies, let's work it out. However it needs to be done. If we need to help work on you getting tutoring, we got it. And that's the other thing that I would say about teachers before I move on to college, is that they don't only teach us the things that seem important, like academics. They teach us more than that. And it's the same way with the coaches. Like my mom was saying, we're against our best interest. We're with not our parents all day long. We're with other people, and the other people we're around are the teachers and the staff and the students of Concordia. And the teachers don't just teach us academics. The coaches don't just teach us sports. They teach us different values, like hard work and like passion. And that's something that I have found to be incredibly powerful. Now, as it relates to college, I love academics. I love learning. But some people don't enjoy it quite as much as that, or find it a little bit more tedious. It's hard to not love learning at Concordia. Be it the teachers, the way the teachers are. Oh, I cut in and out. All right, we still there? Okay, one more comment and then we're good. Sorry. It's hard to not love learning at Concordia High School. And that's something that I found to be very, very powerful. And that carries over to college. So myself, I'm going to be attending Texas A&M this fall, hoping to do an engineering program with pre-med. I know others who have graduated and gone off and said, man, this really isn't that hard. Because part of what the teachers at Concordia teach you is through junior and senior year, course load and studies really, really pile up. And that's something that will happen at college. But the college students feel very, very, very prepared through their time at Concordia. So I think I'm breaking up a little bit. Hopefully not too much.
We gotcha, Sam. That was great. Anything else, Sam?
Cool. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think that covers it.
Thank you, sir. And congratulations on graduating. Yeah. So this is the time we really we move through this pretty quickly. I think our attention spans at this point in the year, perhaps even with all the Zoom meetings that you're on, we experience that, after an hour, maybe even before the hour, our attention spans begin to fall off. So we're really at that 45-minute mark here, and really open it up to anybody who has questions pertaining to Concordia High School. If we haven't answered anything, or if anything isn't clear, please don't hesitate to speak or chat. And so we have a good question. So what is the admissions process what is the admissions process? Well, and Tracy can jump in here too, but the admissions process is there's an online application. Once the online application is going through, then we have the conversation about tuition. Is that we are a tuition-based school, and so we welcome those conversations about tuition. And there's an interview. I know there's a principal interview, and looking at the transcripts and making sure that we're fitting your student plugging your student into the right classes. So it's pretty straightforward. Really, it begins with the online application piece, and then we go from there. But certainly, Tracy, did I answer that completely? Did I miss
Yeah, so basically after you turn in your application, it pretty much comes back to me, and I will start communicating with you of the items that are needed. My role and my goal is to make the transition from middle school to high school as easy as possible, picking your classes, getting through the process, and answering any questions that you have. So I'm available. I sent out my email address when I sent you the Zoom link. So if you have any questions specific after this, just feel free to reach out to me.
Great, thank you, Tracy. Another question came in, when will the new campus be open? The new campus will be open. Well, officially the campus is sort of open. We opened it we had the graduation certainly, but I think you're talking more probably about when we're gonna make the move over to the new campus. We do have land at Heatherwild across the street from the campus. If you're not familiar with this campus that we're talking about, it is a gigantic warehouse building that we are converting into a school, a high school. So across that road there on Heatherwild, we are in the process of selling that. COVID-19 delayed some of that selling, and for many reasons with contracts and government and things. But that was delayed, which basically has delayed our entry into the new campus. So I'm not gonna say much more than that because I don't want to make any promises. I certainly think Mr. Westfeldt's on here and he can chime in as needed. I don't particularly want to go into timetables because we all know when we make plans, God has others, and so it just we are anxiously awaiting that moment certainly, and we will celebrate like crazy when we get there. Right now, for this semester at least, we are going to be at the Royston Lane campus, and where we've been for the last seven years. Any other? So I'm kind of going through here. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, no, the joining the class. I mean, we have a incoming senior next year. I think Jordan can talk to you about her class and, maybe easing the nerves a little bit about who comes into that senior class. But maybe you got a sense of the community that we want to build. Maybe it's not always so clear with a Zoom meeting, but certainly there's a culture here and there's a community here that is very, very wanting and desiring of a relationship. I think we can all agree with that. So, Jordan, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on your class in particular?
Yes. My class has lots of great personalities. It makes for fun times. I could get in touch with whoever is coming and I could talk to them about that if that helps you at all. I could definitely go more in depth with that. We're a very involved class, lots of fun, and I'm excited to see how we do as seniors because I think we have the potential to be really good leaders.
I agree. That's great. Well said. And Sam's commenting here as well, and I would agree. But the plan, there's a question on the plan, and that's $1 million question for the plan for the next year, for fall at least. And I think when you say fall, that's spot on because I'm just trying to wrap our minds around just the fall, not necessarily the whole year, but what does what does August look like? What does September look like? And I think if you're paying attention to the news right now, unfortunately, there's some information coming in that we might be having to make some changes right away. But our desire is to be back on campus. I think when we look at kind of the scope of what we've done in the past and going 100% online, we did that because we care. We want our students to continue to learn. We felt like that was the most appropriate action that we could take to educate our students and not to say that we gave up on our students at all. We don't want that. We wanted them to continue to engage in classroom. And that came with some challenges, obviously. That's a new world for us, and that's a new world for students and a new world for parents. And we learned a lot through that time. And I'm actually really happy with learning a lot through that time, because it sounds like it may be that we have a fallback point of going online at some point. But certainly our goal is not to be an online school for the fall. It may happen where we are online at a particular point. And if we do, we've really learned a lot of lessons. So with that in mind, what does it look like to come back? I will say it's somewhere between normal and 100% online. Probably with smaller groups when we look at lunches and morning announcements and chapels, making sure that we don't have the entire student body all together at one point. I think the CDC, the government and CDC have continue to make mention of social distancing. So making sure that happens. And so I'm not to say we don't know, it's just that we have a lot of variables at play, and we have a lot of different directions that we can take it. And I'm very confident that we can make a pivot when we need to make a pivot. And I think flexibility and adaptability is the name of the game right now. But it's not just to be flexible and adaptable. It's all for the purpose of caring and having love for our students. You know, transferring that love of Jesus over to our students is a very important piece. So it's not just really a job. It's a calling that we all as faculty staff take very seriously, and we want it to be the best possible scenario for our seniors or for our juniors or whoever. You know, I say seniors, I'm looking at Sam and I'm thinking about his senior year, and how difficult that was for him to miss out on things like prom and some of those traditional pieces that we have at Concordia your senior year. However, Sam might attest to the fact that we did some pretty unique things this year. You want to weigh in on that, Sam? I want to hear from you. What was so different about this year?
I would say it was definitely tough to be away from the other seniors and away from the staff. But at some point, it is what it is, and it's hard. But there were things that surprised me that I would not have expected. As this season that we knew was going to be online became more and more serious, my expectations lowered a lot. And it was another opportunity, once again, for the staff as well as the students to far overwhelm what I could have imagined it would have been. And some of the ways they did that was through, like Dr. Rader was saying, is the Zoom classes. There were Zoom classes quite frequently in Mr. D's class, Ms. Rader's class, several of my classes. And it was fun just to even see your friend's face. But as the year came to a close, it was kind of like, you know, this is the time that we need to process the end of the year happening. And it's like, some of the ways we do that is so it's not quite abrupt. It's not just the end of the year with graduation. It's, you know, the last chapel, the senior blessing from the students and from the staff. And you can see finals coming. So for us, it was like, okay, we need to process this. Boom, it's graduation. That's how I thought it might be. But this year it wasn't quite like that because the staff did several things to make us feel particularly special. And be that through, you know, we're proud of our 2020 graduate Concordia yard signs that they gave to the seniors, or be it the bus. The bus is still my favorite thing. And that you will not find that anywhere else. As someone who is not, not an outsider, but as someone who's been other places, you will not find that anywhere else. And what I mean by the bus is several members, probably the good majority of our teaching staff and some of even the office staff, jumped on our really cool albino rhino school bus. You'll learn about that. And they drove to almost every single one of the seniors, whoever was home. Of the 25 seniors, I think they made it to, I'm not even sure how many, but well into the teens, houses all throughout Austin, South Austin, North Austin, even out to Davila, which, if you don't know where that is, Lake Granger, northeast, very far away. And they all got off the bus. They blew horns. They threw candy at us. They gave us a yard sign with our choir photos on it. And they made us feel excited, passionate, and happy, like we normally would feel at Concordia, that we weren't quite feeling as much in the sadness of COVID. And again, that's something that, as someone who's been other places, that is something you will never find anywhere else, is the passion and the drive from the teachers.
Yes, Sam, I will. Yeah, 25 seniors.
Make about that.
Go ahead, Karen.
We have some traditions. Oops, sorry, am I breaking up?
You're good.
So we have traditions with like the senior blessing that the teacher bless the kids with, the underclassmen, is awesome. And what I loved about this year is, although we couldn't do it in person, we did it online. But then it was super fun because we got to watch that with, as Sam's older brothers came home, we got to sit and watch it again and again with them. And so it was almost in some ways as good or better.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. Hi, Lisa. Yes, yeah, go get them 8th grade year at Redeemer. Have a good one. And yes, please be in touch with us. Certainly, we still plan on having the 8th graders over for 8th grade Future Freshman Day. And as we are able, we will set up a shadow day. So please keep that on your radar. We'd love to continue that that tradition of having our 8th graders shadow a freshman for the day, just to get a good sense of who we are. So great. Does anybody else have any questions? I think we are nearing the 1 hour, and this is a great time. So I think our speakers did a wonderful job. We really want to emphasize just the community and the sense of care that we want in our community at Concordia High School. But if nobody else has any questions, I will pray us out and let that be done. Okay. All right. Heavenly Father, wow, what a great moment, what a great time here. I am thankful for the participation. I'm grateful for the speakers today, the passion, their love that they have for you, and the love that they have for Concordia High School. I pray for our high school students as well as our middle school students as they continue to think about where they're going, what their next steps are. Guide them and protect them, and give them wisdom and discernment as they make good decisions about their middle school years, or for our seniors as they get into college. Continue to give them that wisdom and discernment. Bless us and keep us safe. Protect us this summer and help renew us and strengthen us. In your name we pray. Amen.